Hello, welcome back. As you can tell, we have a nice little fancy microphone here. You know, the production value is clearly evolving here at the Marvelous Mind podcast shit. But yeah. Anyway, I thought I would record another quick video, sort of dancing around this question of what is the present moment. Which I think is an interesting question to really ask. It sort of is inquiring into the nature of our experience, you know, which seems to be grounded within this thing we call the present moment. And, you know, the essence of really sort of meditative inquiry is sort of exploring what this thing is, how we sort of directly experience reality, you know. Because I think if we can think of our experience or our consciousness in this kind of this manner, if you sort of imagine like a record player, right, and it's playing sort of vinyl record, right, and you know, the needle sort of has this sort of contact with the record, and it plays the song and, you know, moves around and changes, and as you know, you change through the song, going through various sequences, and you know, you can think about our life, for example. You know, we go through various stages of development, from, you know, being an embryo to childhood and adolescence, adulthood, old age and whatnot, and that's like kind of how the needle is sort of tracking along the record and playing the different stages of life. And one thing to sort of think about is the idea that that needle is always in contact with the record, right? It is perennially in contact with the record, and that's kind of like how our present moment is like, you know, the idea that our present moment is sort of, there's this unchanging essence to it that is the same, you know, the present moment is the same as you had when you were 3 years old, for example, to how it is kind of now. And yet it is always, you know, the form of the present moment is changing in, you know, as you move around your day, you know, going from different places to places, you know. It's like you go from different places to places without ever kind of leaving the home of the present moment, kind of. So, and that's a strange thing. It's like, you know, it never quite disappears, you know, but if you try and grasp at it, you know, it's like sort of sand, kind of. It just slips through your fingers. You try and grab a moment, you know, but that moment's already passed, you know. I mean, it's like, where do you locate the moment, for example? You know, is it a span of a second, or a tenth of a second, a millionth of a second? You know, when you sort of inquire into that, you see that it's infinitely small, right? And in mathematics, if something is infinitely small, you think of it as essentially nothingness, you know. And yet, in this nothingness, everything is contained, you know, everything manifests, you know. And I guess that's the riddle of the universe, I suppose, you know. How does something arise from nothing, you know? And yeah, no, it's like there is a strange nothingness that comes from really peering into the present moment. And I guess that sort of gets into all the stuff where, you know, Buddhism talk about the void, and experience as a shining void, for example, which is I don't know, that's a whole rabbit hole to really dive into. But I guess in the sort of the effort to keep this sort of brief, kind of, you know, it's interesting to inquire into what this present moment is, to really be truly absorbed in it, you know. And I guess this feeling of deep absorption is kind of like similar to the flow state you hear described by, you know, musicians, athletes, people who work, you know. And it's probably like, yeah, it's probably very similar to the states of deep meditative absorption that sort of monks fall into, pretty much. You know, where their mind becomes so one-pointed, you know, that it just becomes just totally absorbed into the present moment, kind of. There's like no distraction, there's no, you know, being lost in thought, where attention is sort of going to this mini daydream with, you know, the various thoughts and sentiments about who am I, you know, identity, and you know, because it's that question of like, where do you go in the silence that lies between thought, you know. But yeah, this is just, you know, a little dance around. I mean, I didn't really script out anything for this. It was just just a few sort of rambly thoughts that were percolating in my consciousness and shiz. But anyways, I hope you found something interesting in that. Yeah, I might do more of these sorts of videos where it's like just an idea, it's just there, and I just sort of see where it sort of takes me in the video. But yeah, anyways, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.